Thanks so much, Mabrisa. Mexican authorities prevented thousands of Central American migrants from crossing a bridge connecting Guatemala and Mexico. The migrants are fleeing poverty and violence as part of a politically charged U.S.-bound caravan.
And all the people have stories of struggles of how they're trying to survive this journey as the U.S. and Mexico are trying to stop them from entering. A sea of migrants have now made their way inside Mexico. Some crossed from Guatemala by boat, others waded or tried to swim. The thousands of migrants, mostly Hondurans, said they were fleeing poverty and violence. Many are looking to reunite with loved ones. Like Brian Coverdrillas, he came across the river by boat a week after being deported to his native Honduras from the U.S., where he had lived for most of his life and has left behind a wife and daughter.
What do you need to get back?
My daughter. You know, that's the first thing. You know, I didn't have my dad when I was a kid, you know, at all. And I don't want the same for her.
The group is now walking 23 miles north of the Mexico-Guatemalan border. There were about 10 buses awaiting the migrants on the highway, with drivers instructed to take the migrants to shelters. On Friday, Mexican police stopped the estimated 4,000 people dead in their tracks on a bridge that joins Mexico and Guatemala. That bridge became a holding cell, but one without bathrooms or water or mercy from the brutal sun, where the crush of migrants waited to see if they would be allowed to pass. Mexican police watched as the migrants took to the river, but this time did not try to stop them.
The truth is, we're all going to jump in the river, she says, and keep going forward.
People came across in rafts heavily loaded with children and everything they own on their backs. After a week traveling, many of these migrants are out of money, and some are choosing to go back home.
They're not coming into this country. They might as well turn back. They're not coming into this country.
The Honduran Foreign Ministry said 2,000 people in the migrant caravan have now returned to Honduras, and 400 more are expected to return. The Honduran president also promised those who return that they will be offered jobs and other types of aid.
I called them, I said very nicely, you're not going to get any money if you let this happen. And all of a sudden, they're starting to close it up tightly. They're trying.
But there are still hundreds of men, women, and children continuing their desperate journey north. President Trump tweeted full efforts are being made to stop the onslaught of, quote, illegal aliens from crossing. People have to apply for asylum in Mexico first, and if they fail to do that, the U.S. will turn them away. At least 640 people crossed the border and registered for asylum in Mexico, and still many more are trying to get through.